In this video, I'm going to be taking you through a full session of my live trading. I'm going to show you my complete process, my strategies, and the indicators that I use, as well as my specific trade entries, exits, real profits and losses that I make each day. So you can basically watch and learn from my trading strategies. I've been day trading for almost 8 years now, and I've been documenting almost this entire journey on YouTube. And this live trading series is something that I like to do on the channel to show you the realities of executing trades in real time, sort of reinforcing some of the concepts that I use each day and that we really hone in on the private side of our trading team as well. Okay, we have a trading team of thousands of traders working on and mastering the full intricacies of what I'm going to share with you today. And while our private trading team members are crushing it with these concepts, of course, I want to bring some value to you guys on the YouTube side as well. And as usual, one of the most requested topics is live trading. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in today's video. So I'm going to show you the thought process of finding these trades, getting in the trades and managing them. We're going to see if we can hit our daily goal of over $3,000. I'm also going to be using a new exchange today to trade on. And the good part about this is it's way more accessible. So I'm going to show you guys how you can get started doing this as well. So we got some crazy volatility this morning. I'm waiting for the markets to settle, but now let's dive in and try to find our first setup of the day. So right now it's about 11:45. Normally I like to start my trading sessions around 9 a.m. However, today, as you can see over here, tracking what Bitcoin's been doing, starting at about 8 a.m., we had this massive sell-off in the market. So I really wanted to wait for the session to sort of regulate and figure out what direction overall the market is likely to move in before I start taking my trades. Normally, what I'm doing is watching Solana for price action. However, you can see even crazier move to the downside here on Solana. So what I'm normally doing is basically waiting for this high zone and this low zone between 8 and 11 to really pick a direction and move. However, you can see the range is so wide, we're probably going to trade inside this range. So even though I take most of my trades on Solana, I did want to look for other pairs. Okay, so then I went to the Bitcoin chart and I noticed Bitcoin did have a similar sell-off in the morning, but it sort of rebounded with some strength. Okay, so really what I want to do is find overall direction. Even though we didn't break over this high, I still very much like this sort of trending price action here to start to look to set up a trade. Okay, overall, our daily bias is signaling bullish. Okay, you can see the previous day high here on Bitcoin's chart was taken and we had a bullish close on our candle. So that's indicating that our daily bias overall, shout out John Monzo on the private side of our trading team, if we're doing this analysis, is signaling bullish. So you'll see I have all of my resources pulled up for my trading session. So I have my trading view over here. Today I'm watching all the markets because we have a ton of things going on in crypto with Bitcoin at all-time highs. So I'm watching all of the main pairs as well as my Bitcoin chart over here. This is my main trading dashboard. Over here, I have my cryptocurrency exchange pulled up. This is my first day trading on Blowfin. You can see it's very similar to the user interface that we were using before. It just has better accessibility and less restrictions. All right, and we just officially partnered with them. So you can check out the link in the description if you're interested in trading on it. Okay, and you can see we basically have every feature that we need. We have cross and isolated margin. We have really good leverage capability, especially on the larger pairs, we can get a lot of leverage. There's just some quirks that I'm getting used to. However, it is a little bit annoying. Basically, when I open up my take profit, it flips my positions to the bottom. So I also have another tab pulled up just to monitor my positions. It's because I'm screen recording this for content. So when your P&L is moving around, it's hard to make short form out. It's a struggle of making trading content, right? So I have this window pulled up. You'll be able to see the management of the positions, but just so that you guys know, it's basically very, very similar to what we've been using this whole time. All right, so we have our daily bias. What I want to do here is go over to a 1 hour time frame, and I want to see what's going on with the price action of Bitcoin. I always like to take a larger overall look at what's going on. So we've had this major run up, obviously. Now we have these ascending low points here with this neckline resistance potentially being broken. Here, one of two things can happen. We can either come up through this level, come over it, sit back on top of it, and continue to move higher. That's the thesis for Bitcoin breaking to $100,000 within, say, the next 1 to 2 days. A lot of times what will happen, I've noticed this with Bitcoin, and we'll see what happens today during the session. I'm going to keep this in mind and build this into my trading thesis. But a lot of time what will happen is you'll get a little push up through here, and then you'll get a tank down here, and everyone's like, okay, everything's fine. It'll get some support off of this level, and then it will break down. Basically, it's a sweep of liquidity. It's sort of a fake out, getting a lot of people to buy that neckline breakout, thinking it's going to move up to 100. Big psychological level, market's been running, and you actually get a tank. So I'm going to factor this into my trading session. However, we are trading on a 1 minute time frame. What I'm noticing is our neckline resistance is realistically, it's a zone more so. So it's basically inside this zone. This is our resistance zone. So up into 92.8 all the way up to 93.3. So what I can do now that I know price is most likely to break at least up into this zone. So if I'm looking to take a short-term profit where all I need is this price to be hit, I'm okay with taking taking along into this level regardless of if we get a breakout. If we do get a breakout and confirmation, we can just keep taking this trade up and up throughout the day. I'm also going to watch other pairs, for example, like Solana, which is what I normally trade, to see if we can find good trade opportunities. But for right now, we do see a good opportunity here on Bitcoin. All right, so the next thing that I'm doing now that I have my overall macro thesis is I'm just going to start doing some analysis on the session, figuring out roughly what we have. First thing that I'm noticing is that we got a sweep of liquidity underneath this level, and we got a big push up in the market. All right, I want to see where we are in this channel. Okay, so this is going to be a potential heavy resistance area as well, considering that we do have a double top along this level. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this come up and have some sort of reaction off of that point. Another thing that I'm noticing is that we have this high being retested, broken through on top of, which leads me to believe that even if the price does come down from this point, it's going to probably test the overside of this trend and at least get some sort of small reaction up. So I'm going to factor that into my trade thesis as well. On this current wave, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially up to a 5. So realistically, I would love to already have been in this trade had I have caught this idea a little bit sooner. Technically, I would love to be in long along the support level. All right, so what my gut's telling me is that we're going to get maybe another push up into here, but then probably get some reaction to the downside, even if later in the session we do end breaking highs. So I'm actually going to go back to Solana, okay, which we can see has had a sell-off early in the session, but it's starting to rebound and trend up. Reason I'm doing this is because Solana tends to be a little bit less reactive and more resilient to the upside when the market's moving down, okay? And what I do like, once again, is the fact that we've settled along these highs and broken and reestablished this sort of uptrend here. So even if we do break to the downside, I don't think that we're going to break straight down through. So I am going to set up a trade idea here on Solana, anticipating that we do get a little bit of a sell-off on Bitcoin, but then eventually a continuation to the upside. In this instance as well, we can't have the third wave as the shortest wave. So I do anticipate that we do have to get another push up in this, which is indicating to me that that was not the 3 wave. So we should get another further move up in Solana with some support along this level. So I am going to set up a potential position here on Sol. Okay, so this is where, for you guys on the YouTube side, you can use this resource to basically put in, you can add your fib levels here. And this is going to be a 10% calculator. The people on the private side of the trading team have access to the full calculator, as well as some of them who have been with us for a long time will have access to the on-screen one that I'm going to use. But this is going to allow you to put in your limit, your take profits, and then your additional dip buy levels. And here it's going to tell you all the quantities to enter with. And this is something that we built out for you guys to be able to use and follow along with. All right, so now I have my order ready to go. We're going to see if we can push down and get this first trade filled. All right, and as we see here, Bitcoin, this structure that we had set up off of this low, up, see right into our take profit level right here, it was hit. Now we're starting to get a pullback. So that would have been trade 1. It's a beautiful setup, but now we're gonna see if we can get this Solana position filled. You'll see as Bitcoin sells off a little bit harder off of those peaks, Solana's gonna be a little bit more resilient here, which I think will allow us to maybe get a fill. And then if we are to get that move up into Bitcoin throughout the session, after we get some sort of pullback, that's going to allow the Solana position to come to fruition. As frustrating as this is, I accidentally input my orders incorrectly at our entry zone. It looks like Solana now is about to get the push that we were looking for after a little bit of a sell-off and end up hitting full profit here. I didn't want to take this out of the video because sometimes this is the reality of sessions. Like I just missed 2 beautiful setups, just a little bit wrong timing, just getting used to the new exchange. But just to show you proof of concept why we did what we did end up getting support off of that level. Looks like we're going to push into full profit. So I don't mind taking another trade into this. And the reason that I'm okay with that is because if we look at Bitcoin, because you can see Bitcoin is starting to run up to that neckline and could potentially break out. I think that even if it does fail and end up reversing, we have some more momentum to the upside. I'm willing to take one more trade if this does want to come back down into our zone. We could have been up 2 trades on the day, but that's okay. Once again, just to sort of show you the thought process behind this, I know that trends move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structures, right? So when I saw this stock corrective and then I saw another push here and then this high, I knew because of Elliott wave theory that this 3 wave here could not be the shortest wave in a wave structure, in which case it's shorter than our 1, which would imply that we would have to get some sort of move to the upside in order to create a 4 wave, which you can see has now been created. That just sort of gave me extra conviction that we would end up having a continuation continuation on this trend. So I did input another round of orders to attempt to get in long again here. It would be nice if the market would turn around, not fill that other take profit just to make me feel better. Okay, but either way, this setup still looks good. I believe that we will get a little bit of a pullback potentially, but I don't think we're going to break underneath lows. And I think Bitcoin could take another run over that neckline. This is going to open up grounds for something called an L1 bomb, where I really try to catch a large move in the market. So if we can get filled here, we're going to be in good shape. All right, so once again, now broke over this high. So I guess the only silver lining we can take out of this at the moment is that the analysis works. You know, you're seeing it in real time, but just getting used to the new interface, and markets are a little bit challenging to trade today. So I'm going to look for other ideas. What I do think is possible, Bitcoin's now starting to come up and retest. If we break over this level, it does look like it's going to take a run at highs. However, what I do know is everybody also sees this pattern, and they're expecting Bitcoin to probably break out like crazy today. All right, so I am being cautious of a potential macro reversal. So I'm not going all in bullish. I would really have liked to capture a move to the upside already. However, I'm not going to get roped into the whole thesis that Bitcoin's about to, go to 100K right now, even though it probably could. This is pretty sick, actually. This wick right here just produced Bitcoin's all-time high. It's kind of a cool moment in history. I'm hoping we can get a quick pullback on Solana here and be able to get long if this is to continue. I think even if it does fake out, it may have a little bit more continuation to get the buys sucked in. So I'm hoping that I can get filled on my order here. Once again, sort of reevaluating this trend, we could have this be our third wave. 4 would get support on the high of 1 here, and then get a continuation with a longer trend. I'm going to be a little bit aggressive to the upside here, hoping to capture maybe a big FOMO move with Bitcoin trying to break the high. If we do flip though, I'm going to be aggressive and try to take some shorts to the downside as well. So we did end up getting our entry filled a little bit later than we thought. Bitcoin is taking a run at highs and having a little bit of a pullback. So we finally got in on our Solana fill. If this continues to drop lower, we're going to DCA down. Otherwise, I'm looking for Solana to continue move up into a 5 wave and potentially take a run at highs if Bitcoin is going to continue. So we're starting to have a pullback here on Bitcoin. Just like we talked about though, we did prick through this all-time highs here. So a lot of times we will see a sell-off and sort of trap some of those buyers. Solana is a little bit more resilient, so I'm okay taking a long position, sort of banking on the fact that we do get some propulsion. Otherwise, we should still be able to get out of Solana being a little bit more resilient if we do get a sell side move. And then later into the session today, I could look to take some short positions. But for now, I'm going to let this trade run, eat some lunch, and we'll see what happens. So this trade was a bit of a grind. I had a feeling that we would get eventually a pullback in the market. So as we were sort of anticipating with the Bitcoin push, this is typically what happens, right? We break over that high, everyone buys the breakout, and now the price comes down and retraces. You'll see this is why I drew this trend line along this high, because what happens is a lot of times the price will come up and retest this trend. What I usually do is make sure that my stop loss is underneath a retest of this trend so that we will at least get a small bounce up. I was hoping that this would happen a little bit sooner so that it wouldn't be as close to stop loss, but we did get that key reaction off of here. Okay, it was a little closer to stop loss, so I took this trade off table here. Looking now, looks like it was a smart idea. After all said and done, this trade closed out for 1,090. This was a little bit lighter than I had anticipated, but like I said, market was sort of selling off now. So I want to play some sell side as we were sort of anticipating off of this trend break. But first, I'm going to input my trade data. I definitely will say that after missing a few of the trades, these other low areas in here were really the areas to start getting into a trade. Maybe a little bit forced. The confidence level behind this was a little bit lower than what I would normally typically go for. I'm going to step away from the charts a little bit, let Bitcoin sort of settle into the later day session, and we're going to do some analysis and see if there's some mid-afternoon setups after the New York stock market is closed. I haven't lost a trade in nearly 40 trades, so statistically I'm due for one, but we were able to use discretion to be able to get out of this early. So I'm going to let the markets settle in after New York's close, and I'm going to see how the price forms to take another midday trade once the market stabilizes. For now, I'm going to step away from the charts. So we've had a little bit of movement to the downside here. I found a new position on Ethereum that we're already in. We just got our second limit order filled here in just a second. Basically, we broke this critical support level here. I took a short position in here with my dip buy orders into this range. We are slightly trending to the down direction, so I'm assuming some volatility in this area. All we really need is for this price to roll over a little bit, and we'll have the second trade on the day. Once again, as expected, we've had Bitcoin sell off from that breakout high. Okay, market's not really moving that aggressively right now. Ethereum's lagging a little bit behind. We don't have a strong movement in either direction, which right now we really don't. I'm assuming that we should get enough sideways chop to be able to get out of this area. I have all of my confluences being hit. Okay, we don't have any secure wave structure here, showing me that this trend has fully completed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this sort of roll over once again. If we got momentum to the downside here, I wanted to be positioned into the market. I think we will start to get some chop, so we're going to see now how Ethereum wants to react and see how the second trade plays out. For now, while I'm waiting for this trade to fill, I'm going to get some other work done. We'll see how trade number 2 goes. Okay, so it is about 10 o'clock at night. We just closed out on our Ethereum trade. As predicted, Bitcoin's now taking a move to the downside. Markets are sort of trending in the down direction. So if we look at what happened over on Ethereum, sort of getting short into this momentum push to the downside, we ended up pushing a little bit into our dip buy zones. We got an additional short order here, another short order right at our secondary dip buy level. We were able to close out for about $1,200, $1,194 to be exact. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this session I missed like 3 or 4 trades. What I'm gonna do is I'm calling it quits for the day. Okay, this session just kind of destroyed me, to be honest. Gonna go to bed. I'm gonna wake up. We're gonna take one more trade in the morning, and then we're gonna go through all the trades. I'm also gonna show you my daily checklist that you can see right here in my trading session plan, including my pre-session trading session, and then everything that I do on a daily basis. What I've already done is my post-session review here. I'll go through that in the morning. Even with the mistakes and maybe a little bit of forced trading, I just want to share a little bit of the psychology of what happened today, sort of be a little bit introspective too with my own performance. Wasn't the best day, it wasn't the worst. Still made reasonable, rational decisions, which is why we were still able to come out on top. But for now, I'm calling it a day, and I'm going to pick up in the morning. All right, so today's a new day. We do have Bitcoin now breaking over all-time highs in this morning session. Okay, so just sort of like what we were talking about, we had these ascending lows. This is something that you guys can use when you're trading just in general too. These are really basic patterns. This is something called an ascending triangle. Basically, the premise of this is that we get an impulse push, we get a low, we get a high, we get a higher low, neckline high, and then a higher low. So eventually either the price has to break down below this, or it's sort of funneled and squeezed to break out to the up direction. However, a lot of people know about this pattern now, so what will happen is you'll get a lot of people waiting to buy once we get confirmation of this break, right? And then a lot of times this price will sell off right off of this peak. Okay, so that's exactly what I was talking about yesterday, sort of anticipating that we take some shorts later into the afternoon, but we did catch support along that level, and now we're breaking out. So I'm gonna check the daily bias for the day, see what John had put out. Once again, closing bullish, anticipating bullish momentum into the day. And with Bitcoin breaking all-time highs, I think we now sort of have confirmation. So I think there's good enough reason to expect that we do see some momentum into the market today. Now we do have the stock market opening here in about 15 minutes. You can see it's right now it's about 9:15. However, I think with the momentum into the market, I want to get into these markets early today and start trading on these trends. Normally, I'll wait for the volatility to die down, but I think that there's going to be some good market opportunities, especially because we just have markets moving in larger percentages than we're used to. I think we can play some momentum early out of the gate. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my main criteria that I follow. Yesterday, we sort of just hopped into trades, and this sort of pays off if you stayed for the end of the video, right? You get to see a little bit more inside. But what I'm doing is using a 20, 15, and 200 day moving average here, and I'm waiting for these all to line up. And this is going to help me on a smaller time frame, generally where my trend is moving. Okay, we want to find some general choppy trends. Normally what I'm doing is waiting for a high and a low to develop during the New York open time, right? So pre-market usually starts around 8. That's why you'll see I have 8 o'clock triggered here, and then when 9:30 hits, that'll show me when the New York session happens. And I really want to let the market shake out, pick a direction, right? We don't want crazy price action flying around. Now I'm going to show you guys inside my pre-session notes. Also, this is in our tools, so if you ever want access to these tools, you can go in the description of this video, follow me on Instagram, and then just DM me the word tools. I have an automation that's going to send this over to you right away. That way, if you also have questions, you can get in a DM conversation with me or someone on my team as well. All right, so before I'm taking any trades, here are my pre-session notes, and you guys can change this or update this however you like. Okay, so first, checking news and important events. So on TradingView, okay, we can open up a new tab here and go over to calendar. And what this is going to do is show us an economic calendar. Now, when we're trading something like what I'm trading, we really don't want crazy, unexpected, volatile news. So I'm going to check this high importance news button, and then we're going to look at our current day. Today's the 20th, and we're going to see what we got going on. And what we're looking for is high impact event news. So we got Japan, inflation rates could have an impact on the US markets, but as far as like a direct correlation, not really going to be huge. And then we have UK news and German news. Neither of those to be super important on the US markets, right? So it's low impact day. I'm seeing momentum out of Bitcoin. There was some news yesterday that sort of shook up the stock market, but we're breaching all-time highs here. So we did check the news. Everything looks good here. We checked our daily bias. We have all of our tools set up. So I have my exchange set up. We have our chart set up. We're monitoring the overall market. And then I'm checking the Discord too. We can check for smart alerts. Basically, these opportunities that I'm finding, developed an automated algorithm that will search for this criteria and list sort of an idea flow. This is open for you guys to use on the Discord as well. Obviously, don't rely on it fully, but it is something that is cool to be able to start generally finding these ideas. All right, so we checked that. Now we have a watch list put together. So you'll see over here, I have all of the top 5 coins that I like to trade with this trading style on Blowfin. Okay, so normally what I'll do is tag these green, and basically what this does is this will move me over to a green list, and I have all of my trading systems that I can then move into different sections depending on the list. I didn't use that yesterday just because I was trading ETH and Solana was a little bit crazy, but on a systematic process, basically click this list, it adds section, and then I can funnel and sort of organize all of my trades. Additionally, when I do take a trade, you can use this button, and all I do is put the date, and then on that date, the order of trades that I took, so I can see the specific date, and then all of the trades, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Throughout the session, I can toggle these on and off, so I save all my analysis, and then you can hide it away. So that way you can add it to your chart, review sessions. This is what I like to do to show the private side of our team, all the trades that I took for the weekend, and be able to sort of address questions. That's my pre-session plan. Okay, this is the trading session plan that I have set up for myself. All right, so you'll see I have a button designed here, and basically I click this button, it's going to drop down all the criteria that I'm going to be looking for a trade. And this is from me going through testing and looking at some of the stuff that can help me sort of systematize what I actually am looking for. This is only some of the stuff that we talk about on the private side of our trading team, right? I have to pull some stuff back for YouTube to keep it fair to the other people, right? But this is still stuff that can get you started and sort of start investigating your own process. All right, so we talked about the New York session high and low. When I talk about best price action, what I don't want are these crazy, like for example, parabolic moves up with not a lot of choppy price action. Okay, so if we look at this trend, it's just straight line, tight candle, and you'll see we didn't really get any movement like this. We just got a straight corrective move like that. Okay, so for example here, straight line up. Whereas let's find an example where it doesn't look like that. Even this is a lot more choppy, and look, we got a cascade sell-off, continuation, full profit trade, or would have been a full profit trade. Okay, so that's really what I'm looking for. In addition, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but trends are going to move in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pattern followed by a corrective move. And these corrective moves can be really, really deep. So if we look at it in terms of a 5 wave structure, I always want to avoid getting long in a 5 wave. I've just noticed that statistically this leads to a lot of losses. Every time I'm looking at losses for this system and coaching people, okay, a lot of times we won't be following this rule. This is a personal rule that I've found, but it's very, very important. And you'll notice a lot of the losses will come from that. And you can sort of see from your own testing. So we're looking at that. We're looking at the choppy price action. Okay, I'm not going to go over that one. I'm going to save that for another time. Okay, and then setting up our alerts. So we have our 2050 200. This is on an indicator called the IT Foundation. This is going to give you these zones, this table, as well as these moving averages. Okay, so in this situation, I really do like this trade setup. Okay, we have choppy price action leading in. We have our swing low from New York. We do have this macro support level here. So if we do bleed really, really hard, we should be able to bounce and get us in and out off of this zone. So I'm going to lock in right now and set this trade up, and then we're going to see how this plays into fruition. This is a little bit of a unique situation. Like I said, you guys can use this tool. Here you can see we have like 7 people using it at once. Okay, just got signed out, whatever. But I'm going to be using this where basically I can click on my entry, take profit, limit 1, limit 2, and my stop loss. And then I can put in all my risk parameters, and it will show me all the orders to put in. This is something that our 6-month plus Discord members and our lifetime Discord members have access to. So something to keep in mind that I'm looking for is we do have this really, really critical level that we just broke out of for Solana. So this is going to be a huge support level right in here at our dip buy zone. So we have a ton of support unless something crazy fundamental comes out and just dumps us through here. So this is a super, super high conviction play for me. This is what I'm talking about, sort of adding confluences. Like I'm confident in this decision. It's not really cocky. It's just more of like choppy price action, key levels of multiple support, and we are in a potential 4 wave coming down up into 5. So high probability trade if this is to come down and fill me on my entry here. And there's a few other key things that I can't talk about with you guys on the public side on the YouTube, but it is adding to my confluence on this. But we're going to see now if we can get the price to pull down, get a continuation, and take that third trade. Okay, technically it's a new trading session, but we started a little late yesterday, so I think it's within the same 24-hour period. So we're going to see how this works, and then we're going to see how this trade plays out. So we just got our position filled on Solana, dipped down into our entry zone. New York just opened 8 minutes ago, so we should get a little bit more volatility, a little bit more play into the session depending on where that market goes, right? But once again, we do have a lot of support levels moving here for Solana for us to get a nice reaction off of in case we do dip below. If it wants to come down, poke through here and come back up for a second, get us out nice and quick, in and out for the first trade of the day, I'm okay with it because I got meetings after this, so it'd be nice to be able to get in, get out. But we're going to see now how the market moves and see how our trade thesis plays out. All right, so we just got our secondary dip buy level filled on Solana here. All right, and we just closed out at our TP level here on this quick little pull up off of our critical support level. Now, this is exactly the area that we were confident in because if you look over here, critical support breaks down, tests it as resistance, price comes back up through this wedge here, breaks up above it, comes back down and tests us into limit 2, gets us filled on limit 2, and then gets that momentum push. Now, these are exactly sort of the confluences that you want to test with yourself and then continue to play into the future. Now we're getting some momentum, some really, really nice momentum into this chart. This may continue to move for the rest of the day. I just wanted to get in and get out. Okay, not going to be a full trading session for me today, but I wanted to end off on an actual proper note. I'm going to go ahead and cancel my remaining orders. All right, so now trading session, I can go in, manage trade, yes, input the trades into the trade tractor, and then go to my next step. And you can see what I can do is just copy this, delete it, hit next setup, and it's going to sort of like a quick way for me to not have to uncheck all the boxes. So I'm going to add another trade for today. So once again, I'll take all of this, put it into a folder. Let's save that. Taking a screenshot of the ETH trade that we took yesterday. All right, so let's go over all of the trades for the day. I also want to go over all of the unfortunate trades that we missed, just to go over the thought process behind a session like this where we have Bitcoin at all-time highs, and it's sort of a market that you have to discretionarily sort of pay attention to. So first thing that we noticed in this session was we had this pretty critical support level down here. Now you can see price drew down to this point, sort of swept through the liquidity and then pushed aggressively up through it, and then that's what caused us to end up running throughout the day. So that was sort of the first indication of bullish sentiment. We could have taken longs all inside of here. We didn't end up getting to the market until this point. So our first idea was off of this low level up to this high point. The reason I was waiting for this to sort of play out is because we got aggressive selling out of New York, and that sort of indicated that we had some news going on that could flip us or sort of send Bitcoin a little bit lower down. So I started from this high down to this low, and you can see we got our perfect dip buy zone into pretty critical support level on Bitcoin, poked up through our full take profit zone. And we were willing to play into this sort of neckline resistance level, anticipating that even if the price was to fail off of the neckline or break through it and then come down and end up capitulating, we would be able to play trend into there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture that move, which would have been a full profit win as well. But it did help us sort of conceptualize other trade ideas. As soon as I got confirmation on Bitcoin, I saw that Solana was sort of lagging behind. Initially, I saw that we had this sort of breakout area. It wasn't my favorite setup, but I did want to play into this dip buy level. So we had set up a trade off of here, in which case we got push immediately up almost to full profit and then ended up going to full profit. We set up another trade idea that I also missed just by a hair. You can see off of this high down to this swing low, just missed our entry, which then you can see tagged perfectly the full take profit zone. So these fibs alone are going to allow you to be able to sort of capitalize on those moves. Now, I did somewhat, have to admit, force a trade here. This was at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was thinking this could be our 1-2, which this would be a 3-4, and then we would get a 5 up to sort of this equal high area. However, we didn't see that. So we did end up sort of capitulating, having a change of character underneath this low, and we sort of switched out of this trend move and started going counter trend, and we were long into this. We got our long off of this overall move. It wasn't the best move. That's why I rated it 2 confidence. But we did, however, get support off of this critical level, which is the only reason I was still willing to take the trade. So we got a bounce off of here, was able to get out of this trade. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and say that this was the best trade. I definitely may have pushed it because I was recording a video. Okay, still, if we got a loss, it's fine. We didn't get a loss, so that's even better. Next trade that we took was here on Ethereum. So I had a change in trend. We had a pretty significant pull down, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was assuming that this was still our 4 and we had to get a pull down into 4 to continue into 5, and that's exactly what we had happen. So we got our original short this zone, secondary short, price came up, got us short again here, and then we were able to get a nice capitulation in price and we're able to lock in that nice profit. Then moving into our session this morning, like I said, we checked the high impact news. I didn't see anything going on in the stock market, which led me to believe that the volatility would actually play to our favor. We did find a range push. We had lots of support, so we have support off of these lows. Right, so this dip by level 2 was secured with that. We also had support along this neckline, which was showed to be a critical previous area of support, broken through, resistance broke back above to be support, at least temporarily, and that's exactly what we got here. So we entered here, support here, was able to bang out a $1,234 winner to get us at a daily total of $3,608. Now, not the best session, I will say. If we had have hit all of these trades, I probably wouldn't have taken the first Sol trade. We would have taken the first 2 ones, make it taken the Ethereum, so we would have had 3. That probably would have gotten us closer to, say, $4,000 in general, right? Not the smoothest session, but I wanted to show you me doing this in real time and generating these ideas. Right? It's not after the fact. I'm not saying, oh, well, I would have done this, or, you know, like this is where we could have entered. Like, I'm showing you my thought process with experience in trading, what I'm seeing in the market, and how I can use that to craft ideas. Hopefully you can also look at this and sort of see like the mistakes that I made, sort of pushing trades and taking trades that maybe you shouldn't. Waiting for quality setups, waiting for it to hit all of your confluences is going to be a hugely important part of this process. If you're not shooting YouTube videos, it makes it a little bit easier, obviously. Like I said, links are in the description of this video. Check out these other videos if you want to watch more. I'm going to do these videos into perpetuity. We do have a new system that I'm going to start trading that we're in the final stages of development with. This is something that we're trading on the private side of our trading team. We have people doing crazy things. Just want to do a quick shout out. Humble Beast, 41-0 on these trades. The ones that I'm showing you guys right now, getting up to $100 a day. That's absolutely awesome. You can see we have a ton of team support coming into this. We have a new strategy called Smog, 8.5 risk factors, running 12R from Brandon. Shout out Brandon. But basically, new way of trading where, say you're risking $100, you can make $1,200 holding a position strategically. Okay, we're still working on that, but we're going to unveil that pretty soon. Andrew shouting out Jeremy, 0 experience trading, learning the new strategy, 3 days, got funded with a prop firm. Shout out Jeremy for getting funded. That's amazing. Esard getting a 19 risk reward trade. Yesterday, we actually had a crazy one. Andrew sent me this image yesterday. There's some live trading going on with the new system, 32 risk factors. So like, just to reinforce this, we have about a 25 to 30% win rate on the strategy right now, producing on some of the large winners. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. This is probably like 1 out of maybe 20 trades or 30 trades, but out of a large pool of trades, sometimes getting 32R. You can see it says he's in it. Alexi has 13K in the bag, risking $250. This is more to come. I'm going to start trading this strategy. Remember, we're trading it on prop firms and crypto, so it's more of just tweaking the settings depending on the market that we're trading. But this is the stuff we're doing moving into 2025. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to know when I post these videos. Turn on the bell notification. Okay, here's a playlist to watch more of the other videos. Like I said, if you want to join our private team, check out this link as well. But now it's time for me to hop into meetings and continue grinding. Appreciate you guys all. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video.